This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona, this is Brother Mike. I'm back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thanks for tuning into the program. National crisis, folks. Today's Bible study, the cure for depression. The number one illness in America, depression. Please call somebody and tell them the radio program's on. Please call somebody who needs help. Depression is the fastest spreading illness in America. The number of people who have depression outnumber people with cancer and heart disease. This is Brother Mike. I am the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. I've got over 43 years in the counseling and psychology field. HardcoreChristianity.com is our website. If you go to the website, you'll see all of our ministry services. We have 4 Zoom services every week. They're live, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have 2 live services every week, starting at 7 p.m. Pacific and Arizona time. It's on Thursdays and Fridays. My podcast is at 9 o'clock every Sunday morning for my shut-ins, where I teach the deep things of God. Our children's deliverance service, the next one is May 3rd at 10 o'clock in the morning, preteens only. What a miraculous service that is. And don't forget about our revival, our healing revival is at the end of May. We need you to bring everybody who's sick to that revival. Thank you for your help. The cure for depression. First of all, to find out what the cure is, you got to figure out what the cause is. And the cause is several issues come to the forefront. There are several issues involved. But the initiation of depression is usually caused by trauma, usually in childhood. Trauma is the trigger. Depression needs to start. And the emotional pain from the trauma is the fuel that keeps the engine of depression going. Now, let's clarify a couple of quick things. Number one, depression is not bad in some cases. For example, depression is a perfectly normal reaction to trauma. For example, if someone you love dies unexpectedly, as an example, it is perfectly normal. You are not sick, you're not ill, you're not mentally ill, to go through a period of depression. Your child dies, your parents die, your spouse dies, what have you, your best friend dies. Something traumatic happens, cancer, car wrecks, the usual things that human beings face all the time. It's called life. A lot of bad things happen in life, correct? A lot of bad things happen to you that you did not cause, that just hit you, so to speak, out of the blue, that you weren't planning for, and so on. It's called life. It's what we do as human beings. And to have a period of depression when that happens is perfectly normal. Now, if that depression is extended, technically, if it's extended 2 years or more, it's called dysthymia. Dysthymia is long-term, low-grade depression. And this is a condition where the person has a personality temperament change, and the kind of person they used to be before the traumatic event has kind of ebbed away, and this new person that experiences kind of a low-grade, systemic level of depression in psychiatry, at the cutoff point is 2 years. If it's been about 2 years, that means you've got a mental illness called dysthymia. But if the depression is severe, we counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists, we call that clinical depression. That's a condition where the depression is life-threatening, life-altering, and has severe consequences for activities of daily living and experiencing life events. Right? But when the trauma period happens, usually in childhood, but sometimes young adulthood, sometimes first marriages, it varies. When that trauma hits you, demons automatically launch an attack against you. And the kind of demon we're talking about here is mentioned in Isaiah chapter 61. The prophecy of the Messiah was found in verse 3. Quote, "To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, and to give unto them beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy for mourning, and to give them the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness." Ruach keher is the Hebrew phrase. It is a demon of depression. Once the trauma strikes you, a demon of depression launches against your mind and attacks the emotions in your soul. And if the trauma is severe and the spirit of heaviness is strong, you could end up with clinical depression or long-term low-grade dysthymia. The Hope for Depression Research Foundation in the United States, they do a lot of good work. Very little research is done on depression because the federal government doesn't care about it. They can't make any money on it in terms of medications. Years ago, they came out with Prozac, which helped a little bit, but in some cases it makes it worse. And since the federal government doesn't understand depression, they've never developed any new medications to help treat people with chronic depression. The Hope for Depression research indicates that over 50% of depressed individuals do not respond to any type of existing medications or therapy. Here's what they say. Now, this is coming from a secular, non-Christian organization. Listen to this carefully. These guys are experts on depression. Number one, the exact physical cause of depression remains unknown. Number two, it is known that genetics and childhood trauma may play a role in the biological origins of depression. Number three, stress and other stressors may bring on depression, but are not the underlying cause of depression. Number four, there is no medical diagnosis for depression. In other words, you can't go have a CT scan, a blood scan, a brain scan, etc. Diagnosis of depression is all subjective. Number five, research shows that only 50% of patients respond in a positive manner to medication used to help with depression. That means if you go to the psychiatrist and you get a prescription for Prozac or some other drug, 1 out of 2 will have no effect and will not get better at all. 50%. Number 6, since the introduction of Prozac in 1985, there have been no new medications developed by the drug industry. Now, the drug industry, they don't give a rat's fanny. They don't give a holy shout of anything. They couldn't care less about your health. They just simply don't care. It's all driven by money. And if the pharmaceuticals can't make money off of a drug, they're not interested. Number 7, we do not know how these medications actually work. The biological mechanism is still unknown. You believe this? Next one, pharmaceutical research is stalled. Most pharmaceutical companies have canceled their neuroscience research on depression. Next one. There is limited knowledge for the prevention of depression. Now, this is coming from experts on depression. Check this out. According to statistics, depression is the second most prevalent illness in the United States. I believe it's taken over number one. It's now outdistancing cancer and heart disease. But it ranks 68th in the amount of money the federal government spends to treat it. Folks, here's the situation. Most of the time, trauma and demons, the spirit of heaviness, cause and promote and promulgate depression. If you know somebody who has depression, dysthymia, or clinical depression, give me a call, 602-636-5800. If they're a born-again Christian, they're eligible for free counseling and healing services at the Arizona Deliverance Center. 602-636-5800. You want to know what the cure of depression is? Praise. If you're a born-again Christian and you suffer from depression, all you got to learn to do is start worshiping. Philippians chapter 4, verse 6. Listen to me carefully. Be anxious about nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. Let your requests be made known unto God. Let your requests be made known unto God. That's how you do it. People don't understand how to pray. They ask for things, they beg for things, they make a list of things they want, and then they pray and ask God for them, and most of the things are not answered. The devil steals most of their prayers. You know why? Because they weren't offered with thanksgiving. Let me tell you what to do. I'll tell you easily how to do it. You ready? Dear Lord Jesus, I've been suffering from clinical depression, dysthymia, depression off and on all my life, ever since I was molested or beaten as a child. And I give you praise for that, and I thank you for it. I thank you for this depression, and I worship you in spite of it, and I place this depression into your loving hands. And I'm giving it to you, Lord. And I thank you that you hear me, you care. I thank you for depression. I thank you for the cure of depression, which is me giving thanks and me giving praise. And from now on, when I'm sickest, when I'm down the most, when I'm hurt the most, I will let my praise go, even if I don't feel like it, even if I'm emotionally down. I will continue the worship because I love you and I praise you. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.